I'm joined by Bryan from Red Fang. Bryan, you were just supping from a drink that had your name on it, not your personal name, your band's name. What was that?
Blatant self-production. I don't know. It's a koozie.
Nice.
As we're fond of saying, kooz it or lose it. And it's got the little champion in there. Very cute.
I had a feeling that you had your own beer for a second, so good to know that anyone can get involved with the koozie action. So, how are you? How's lockdown been for you?
It's been up and down. I think it's, like I'm fond of saying, for me to complain would be ridiculous. I think there's so many people that are in so much worse situations. My wife is still working. So we're good. It's just, it's just, I think the worst for me is just kind of the reality, the new reality for, live music or, any kind of public event. We're on hold for the foreseeable future. And so I'm just trying to figure out what to do with my life.
So have you been writing? Because I'm not sure where you're at, because it feels like it had been a long time since the last Red Fang record. So, what has there been anything on that front?
Yeah, we have a single that's going to be coming out in the next couple of months, maybe sooner. I'm not exactly sure. And we also, we have a new record that is done, but because of the COVID-19, we're basically have it on a shelf. We have no release date in mind. I mean, it probably won't be till next year now. I mean, it was supposed to be out already, but without being able to tour to support it, no one really seems to think it's a good idea for us to put it out until we're ready to, get out there and hard charge it,
Especially as a band who've got such a reputation live as well. Like my wife will frequently tell me that if there was an action figure of me and you pushed its center, it would be, why are this band not fucking massive when I've seen you every single time? Does it feel like when you've got a record, not being able to take it on the road, having spoken to a bunch of people in that position, are you kind of all right with waiting?
Well, I mean, whether I'm okay with it or not really doesn't matter because it's happening. So, I just try to, stay peaceful and not, try to worry about. There's, it's just the world is really topsy-turvy right now. I mean, 2020 is pretty much the shittiest year I've ever been in. So, it's just if anything, things are they're just getting worse. So I'm like, whatever. I'm not going to worry about everything all the time. And, and the band will come through this just like every other band will,
Yeah. And so you've mentioned that the record is written and done. Last time you worked with Ross Robinson, and that is going a little bit off-road, knowing what we know of Ross as a producer, the kind of psychological aspect and all of that kind of thing when it comes to Ross. I don't necessarily associate with Red Fang, a band that are loose and greasy and got that kind of a looser feel. What way have you gone with this new record?
It's got some new stuff too. I'm pretty excited about it. There's some really nasty, gritty things. There's some cute songs. I don't know. No one wants to hear me say cute, but anyway, I think it's a natural progression from one record to the next. I mean, we still try to, there's certain, things that we do songwriting that kind of, whether we like it or not, make it a Red Fang song. But we're definitely still trying to try new places. I think that any band that just sort of figures out, basically, if we became a band that just wrote Prehistoric Dog in different keys and different lyrics over and over again, we might be able to cut out a place for ourselves, but we'd go crazy. So anyway, we're trying new stuff, and hopefully people stay, come along for the ride.
Yeah, and so when it comes to trying new stuff, I think the reason why I always go off about Red Fang is I'm like, who doesn't like Mastodon? Who doesn't like Metallica? Who doesn't like the idea of both of those things crashing in between your ears at once? When it comes to being experimental, how do you do that without fucking with your sound as it is? Because like you say, you might just naturally go to the well on certain sounds, certain aspects of what Red Fang will do. But when it comes to being experimental, what kind of, without giving anything away, what kind of shit have you been listening to this time around that might give us some hints towards where you're gonna go next time? Serves me right for asking a really long question.
Sorry, that was a disaster.
Serves me right for asking such a fucking long question, mate.
No, I got about half of it. I mean, as far as doing experimental stuff, I think that we've always done that. Everybody in the band has a history of, messing with, time signatures, which is, not that avant-garde or anything these days. But I think that we all have a mutual lack of knowledge with the circle of fifths or any kind of advanced theory stuff. I mean, we just basically just plunk around on the guitar until we hear notes that we like. So really, when you're not constrained by knowledge, you can really reinvent the wheel for yourself all the time.
And who would argue with that? You'd have to be an idiot to argue with that. The second part of my question I asked is, without giving anything away, were there any particular bands that you were listening to this time around when you were writing, or that came to mind, or that kind of thing? Or are you a creature of habit when it comes to listening?
No, I'm sadly I'm not very good at sussing out new music for myself, but luckily the other guys in my band are pretty voracious listeners of new stuff. So basically, I get to wait for the cream of the crop. They're like, oh, you have to hear this album, So, I don't know, like Young Widows, bands like that. I mean, I never would have heard about them if it hadn't been for my bandmates. But yeah, just I like dissonance, and so I kind of like to listen to bands like Flipper or somebody like that is like a garbage compactor but makes it work. So anyway, that's kind of what I shoot for, is like, how disgusting can I make this guitar part and still pick out something memorable, So.
And plenty of disgusting stuff on the new record, I'm sure. So we've got you on our Knotfest stream. So I'm going to let you go, and we'll do another chat in a second, and that'll go out when the Knotfest stream goes out. So cheers for your time, Bryan.
Awesome. There, I'm doing it.